Okay, I call this November meeting of the Hildebran Town Council to order. We will begin, as we always do, with a moment of silence. Thank you. Who has done the pledge? You haven't done the pledge in a while.
I ain't done it. Let's stand, place flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, review your agenda and make a motion whenever you're ready.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
All right, all in favor?
Mike, yes.
Terry, yes.
Derek, yes.
Dan, yes.
All right. And number 4, the approval of the minutes from October 26th. Look them over and make a motion when you're ready.
Mike, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of October 26, 2020, regular meeting minutes.
Okay, all in favor?
Mike, yes.
Terry, yes.
Derek, yes.
Dan, yes.
All right, thank you. Is public comment? Do we have anyone? Okay. All right, having no public comment. Is Gary out there?
It's not the live one. No.
I'm sorry, he's not.
Gary was not out there.
So do I?
Oh.
Gary, stop.
Yeah.
I can just ask for him. I'll ask for him.
Gary Stiles. Say hello. Good to see you. So you say, come on in.
Well, Gary, come on up to the front. We'll stand up here. We want everybody to know that our businesses in town mean a lot to us. And they change the landscape of this town, all the business we've had. And Gary, you have been in this business for 48 years, do I understand? Well, we appreciate it very much. I know you have touched so many people. My parents brought their cars to you. I brought my car to you. And I think everybody else has too. So we just wanted to honor you in some way. We appreciate you very much for giving you this, the key to the city.
I certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
I never thought anything happened to me like this, but I'm honored and I appreciate everybody involved that made this happen. And
Been a staple for a long time. Been a staple for a long time.
Looks strange, stuff out there now, not see him in there behind the counter.
it's kind of strange, yeah. And I want to thank all the good citizens for their patriotism over the years. And I want to thank my wife for standing behind me for 51 years and helping me all those years. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Okay, number 7, old business. 7A, consider approval of resolution of approving conveyance of property to another unit of government in North Carolina pursuant to General Statute 160A-274, and we are talking about the deputy car.
Yes, just to give you a little piece of information on this. We had reached out to the county to see if they were interested in purchasing it. Initially, they had said yes. However, when the transmission went out on the vehicle, they were under contract to repair that. However, what they're saying now, that vehicle is worth around $6,000, the way it is. However, what they're saying now is because that transmission did break, they would like to purchase the vehicle minus the cost of the transmission repair. Problem with that is if we did that, it's worth $6,000. The transmission repairs, at least from our record, show $38.97,
That's correct.
in cost. They're saying it's $4,600 to repair, so they're only offering us $1,400 for the vehicle. Now, we can sell it to anyone else. There's no obligation to sell it to the county. However, we did want to give them first.
So they was under contract, in other words, under warranty, they're supposed to fix it.
Absolutely.
So in other words, they're trying to backstep.
Under the agreement with the county, the maintenance of it, they were supposed to cover.
That's what I'm saying, they're trying to back out their deal, like if we pay them. So I don't say go ourselves to
Remind me when the transmission went out.
First year, before the new car was delivered.
Okay.
Took forever to fix it.
Yes.
I forgot all about that.
And you got that statement I sent forwarded to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I even asked, I did ask them if we had talked about possibly splitting the transmission repair costs, given it was at the very end of the contract. That 38 and some change number was about 1,900. Would have took it down to 4,100 if we were willing to cover half of that, give them a deal. They still weren't interested. If it's anything above 1,400, they don't sell it or purchase it.
I said about this, some bitches a modular car, give it to them.
Yes. So anyway, we're advising sell it to anyone else at this point, but if that's the case, we do not need a vote on 7A.
Okay. All right, 7B, HHDA Tower Renovation Fundraising Report. Are Lynn and Johnny out there?
I saw Lynn.
I seen Lynn.
Of course, I kind of flew in.
Lynn Ball is the treasurer.
I am.
Is Johnny, he's on his way, he said he was on his way. He had
Johnny
to-
is at a Kiwanis Club meeting. He was hoping to be here, but apparently he's not gonna make it.
Okay.
Okay, so we did it, yay. At last count, we had a total of $26,475 collected, both through the sale of tiles and donations. And we have already, as promised, made our payment of $4,500 to the town well, it's $4,750 to cover our share of the, Mackey, agreement to be able to get the drawings and, renditions and everything finished. So,
Get to work.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Very good work.
and I can hang around if you have other questions. Or I can go home and probably pick up and watch Netflix.
We do have Mackie Johnson coming in next to discuss the tower and some of the logistics behind that. Do you want to stick around for a bit?
That's fine, I can.
Okay, go ahead and call him Mackie. Okay, thank you. And 7C, discussion regarding tower renovation project and consider approval of notice to proceed with Packard Architectural.
Okay, yeah, and I was gonna kind of remind council a little bit about what's going on. So Mackie is gonna be doing our bid. He's gonna write up our bid. He's gonna solicit the contracts, do the advertising, and then under this work, he would also oversee construction. So that's where we're at right now. Me and Maggie have talked a little bit about the tower. I know at one point the council had mentioned making this just a brick monument. That does handicap us a little bit. So one of the things that me and Maggie talked about, one, trying to get it certified as structurally sound. It looks like our options to do that are only gonna be under the existing building code, not a new structure.
Or possibly, as, can we go through? it?
Yeah. If you speak into the mic, that way we can get you recorded.
As far as, let me give you a little background.
Get a little closer on that.
Okay, let me give you a little background. First of all, I'm a 1965 graduate of this school, which makes me very old. My basic goal as providing architectural services would be, one, to determine your short-term and long-term goals, and then assess the tower as it relates to those and try to make recommendations to you as to what could be done with the tower as it relates to short-term and long-term goals. To give you a little overview. One of the first questions we had was, is the tower quote structurally sound? The tower, I think, was built in like 1934, which makes it about
23, not 23.
23, okay, excuse me, which makes it, almost 100 years old. And so this term structurally sound, of course, there were no building codes then. And to find a licensed professional who would write you a letter saying, quote, this tower is structurally sound would be almost impossible. The best way to approach that would be to engage a structural engineer who could assess this, and there's several ways to assess it. One way is there is a quote existing building code. Of course, this was built even prior to any existing building code. That didn't come into effect like 78 was the first code in that time. The tower as constructed now, I can tell you, does not comply with the present building code, the basic masonry law. We can have the engineer assess that and see what actions could be taken to make it structurally sound under the present code, and there's probably a variety of actions that he could look at to reinforce or stabilize the tower to get to this point of structurally sound. If you want to ask the owner of the tower, get some sort of verification that structurally sound, I think that would be the most prudent path of travel to get to that point. There are good local engineering firms out of town that we can engage to address that issue, just the structural sound issue. As far as I indicated before, how you would want to use the tower, short term, long term, as part of my services, I'd be glad to assess the tower's relation to those, make recommendations to you. Once you pick a recommendation, I'll be glad to move forward with whatever drawings would be needed for that. Take care of the bidding process, field observation process, which would be architectural services. And so, without keep jabbering on, that's a general overview, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Maggie, let me just ask you one question.
Yes,
I
sir.
defer to your knowledge, but it seems to me, looking at the tower, the sound is dependent upon use.
To some degree, that's true. And here, for instance, if it were, quote, a monument, and it's not going to be habitable, people aren't going to go in the tower.
Pretty easy to determine the sound.
Then it wouldn't need to be structurally sound for habitation. The question is it structurally sound when it's going to blow over? Or in North Carolina, there are two ways. I don't want to get in too much minutia here, sir. From a gravity standpoint, as far as falling down, I don't think that's a major issue. The problem with this tower will be defining it structurally sounds for lateral. And in North Carolina, The structural engineers check it for wind and for seismic, and normally wind governs. But, if it's uninhabitable, that would have some impact on whether you want to determine whether it's structurally sound or not, sir.
Anybody else got any questions? Okay. All right, well, Mackie, we appreciate it.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Okay. And if you have any other questions, just pass them through Logan, and I'll be glad to address anything you want in writing.
Well, and before Mackie goes, it is something we want to look at is looking to pay for having this structurally sound certification gotten. Is that something we want to expend funds on? Because that is not something we currently have in the budget.
How much is that? I thought at one time we talked about just making it as a monument, no usage.
Well, and so that's kind of the point, is if we go down this route looking to like replace the steps, some of the things that would do if we were able to put steps back in there.
That caused it to be something.
Well, one of the things it would allow us to do, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but it would allow us to help certify that it is structurally sound. It would allow.
Right. It depends a little bit on short term and long term. For instance, if in the long term, if you did want to use it, I spoke to buildings, but I don't get too much minutiae here because I do gentlemen have time here. From a permitting standpoint and a code standpoint, you have to look at the tower in pieces. As an example, the whole roof is rotted out, completely gone. To replace the roof joist and the roof structure, that's a permitting issue. If all you wanted to do was fix up the brick so that, it's in bad shape, it needs to be pointed up, that's probably a maintenance and repair issue. As far as these steps, this could be an issue. I spoke to the building inspection official about that. The inside dimensions of the existing tower are not big enough to support new steps that comply with the code. But the building official I spoke to said that probably we could replace the steps and get them as close to complying as possible. So here again, that gives you a little more flexibility in that respect. Because if you look at it, the roof, the steps, the brick are the three major issues with the tower as far as dealing with it.
So maybe I'm misunderstanding. So you're saying that by repairing the steps, it helps our cause?
Pardon me, sir?
Are you saying that if we repair the steps and can get it as close to, that helps the cause or makes it worse?
We would
Because,
have to, the steps are rotted and they'll have to come out.
right, I understand that. And I think what we discussed before was not even repairing them.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is if you don't have to, if for some time in the future you chose to.
Right. But I guess what my question goes back to is if we fix it, does it help the case with building code and stuff? Because I know building codes change all the time and that it's not going to fit in that code, but we can get real close. Would we be better served by fixing the steps now or not doing them at all and not being able to do them in the future?
If you wanted to do the steps in the future, as far as the code changing, as it relates to stairs, they're pretty much tied. North Carolina step requirements pretty much tied to ADA. I don't know if you're familiar with what you just did that. So I wouldn't see a substantial change. You're not going to make them requirements 4'6" wide instead of 4 feet or anything of that nature. So.
But would the ADA also require there be some type of elevator? Or at least elevator access
You already have the elevator. You already have an elevator.
in the tower?
No, in the building.
In the building, if there was a connection to the tower, that would serve that. But without the connection, then as a freestanding tower, then,
It's less than 3,000 square feet.
oh, okay, all right. That was the part I was missing.
Less than 3,000 square feet. Okay. Here again, I don't want to keep you with a lot of minutiae or things of that nature.
Do we have any other questions? Is looking to get it certified as structurally sound under the existing building code, is that something we want to pursue? If it's just gonna be a monument?
Keep it as a monument. He said we can do something else later.
Does that work?
I think so.
Okay.
And like I said, any further questions you have, if you'll just let me know, I'll be glad to hear your response in writing.
Appreciate
Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time, I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Good to see you. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm gonna go away.
All right, is there a motion to vote required here?
Just a notice to proceed. So yeah, if we want to vote, that'd be fine.
A vote to proceed,
Yes.
anybody want to make that?
I'll make a motion to proceed.
All right, I'll call for a vote.
Cole, yes.
Mike, yes.
Jerry, yes.
Derek, yes.
Ben, yes.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll move on to new business. 8A, consider approval of proclamation for Burke County, North Carolina Nonprofit Day. And that is in your packet. You see the proclamation there.
I'll make the motion to approve the proclamation for nonprofit day.
Okay. Vote.
Cole, yes.
Mike, yes.
Jerry, yes.
Derek, yes.
Ben, yes.
8B, consider revision to regular meeting schedule for December 21st, 2020 meeting. And that's referring to
We want to do the same thing here, YouTube
sounds
Live.
like we're gonna have to.
Okay.
Okay, someone wants to make a motion.
I'll make the motion.
All right, call for a vote.
Cole, yes.
Mike, yes.
Jerry, yes.
Derek, yes.
Ben, yes.
All right, October facilities report. You need to make any comment on that, or is it's in our package, right?
Yes, that's in the packet. And I was just gonna bring up a couple things. So we did install a new countertop in the gym. It's gonna be extended somewhat so that we can put up the glass barrier for COVID restrictions. That was paid for with COVID money. We had a small sinkhole open up right outside in front of the gym. It's most likely a leak to the storm drain. We've had West Consultants come out and look at that. They're supposed to be giving us a proposal on what to do here in the next week or two. We did install soap dispensers, touchless soap dispensers, and touchless hand air dryers throughout the gym, the municipal complex here, these two restrooms, and the three restrooms in the auditorium. So that was all done with COVID money. We did talk to Terminex. They are having people come out. They have not decided yet whether it's under warranty, not under warranty. However, we did finally get a hold of them. They are putting together a team of people to come out and look at this, see exactly what they need to do, and how they can keep the baths from coming back. They have supposedly already come out twice and done some work to try and address it. Those two steps haven't worked, so they're looking into it again. We did leaf removal at the park. Then the last is just normal stuff every month. Check the fire extinguishers, replace lights, HVAC filters, and then set up for the farm.
All right, thank you. October tax report, that is in your packet. Alice, you don't have a comment, do you?
No.
Okay. October deputy report, Gary's here, if you have a question. Or Gary?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, you can look it over, see if you have any questions, or self-explanatory there. Not much,
This pond view's getting to be a pain, isn't it?
nothing I can do about it.
I know, I'm just making the comment though, it's getting to be a
Well,
pain.
what would be nice if they would put up surveillance cameras? And I've asked them ever since they opened to put them up. That would help. Or actually piggybacking off of Select Tire, but that's only for the entrance.
All right, if there's no questions, Gary. We'll move on to committee reports. Technical coordinating committee, Logan.
No updates, no major updates, short meeting.
Transportation advisory committee.
It was a short meeting, like Logan said. Pretty much every project just keeps getting delayed and keep getting pushed back. The only one that actually affects the citizens of our town is gonna be the, exit 118, bridge. Slated to they did patch work, but they are gonna do a bigger, fix in the spring. That's the only project that hasn't been delayed that's not I-40 related. In fact, they're out there milling the shoulder at 119 right now. They got the ramps closed for that. But that project is on the tail end. Outside of that, everything has been delayed. While we're talking about this didn't have anything to do with the meeting, but it does have something related to the DOT. Logan, maybe I can bring it up to you. The lights at the interstate exit at 119, what's going on with those? Because they're not working. I know. What can we do about that?
Yeah, I've had people mention.
Considering that we're on the committee, do we need to reach out to Chris?
I've actually already reached out to the division engineer, the regional engineer, and the county maintenance engineer earlier. I believe it was the mayor that stopped by that let me know that in the last week. I did let them know. They responded by letting me know, so I wanted to let them know, and they were working with us.
Well, the one at exit 123, they're working. You notice down at 321, those lots of work.
I'll work tomorrow to get you a timeline to see how quickly they plan to address it. But I do know they're aware of it.
I know the ones in Morganton and other exits all up and down 40 are working, but ours in 119 are just not working, and they really need to be. Especially considering they're like the horseshoe exits and its speed limit is 25. I think that's really important to make sure that people can see it, because there's people flying off that exit.
All right, the policy board for the COG
That meeting's tomorrow.
tomorrow, okay? The Burke Economic Development,
Are you speaking for that tonight?
I can.
You got an update on that, Alan?
well, do you want to wait till
I can.
Yes, you wait, let's wait.
you're next? Yeah, okay.
I give a quick update as I make the presentation.
Recreation and Tourism,
Stuff to report.
Water Resource Committee, VEDIC,
We meet, December 2nd for November and December.
and the Library Board, we did not have a meeting this month, so. All right, we can move on to 8G, Building Reuse, presentation, Alan Wood, President, CEO of Burke Development Incorporated.
Thank you, appreciate it. I'll give you a little quick update on economic development. It's been quite busy, I'm surprised. We have a project we're going to discuss tonight, and potentially 4 more that we're talking about. And I think we have a closed session talking about one of those. Housing piece of it is an ongoing challenge. We're making some progress on that. There could be an announcement on that. One last project coming up, maybe by the end of the year. Big challenge there is all the easy land to develop is done. So it's a real search to find places that can be developed at a reasonable cost. If you don't have water and sewer infrastructure, trying to do any kind of major developments almost impossible unless you're in a high density area. So, but we are seeing some progress. You're actually making the presentation, and we were chosen to do a similar to a Shark Tank kind of thing to the Federal Reserve, to some of the banks on the credit Community Investment Act. That will take place December the 10th. The water tank pad has been prepared, and they should be out working on that, laying the pad, and construction will start sometime right after the first of the year. We are also having conversations on a spec building. I'm waiting on a proposal on that because there are no buildings of large manufacturing. There's one in the 25-mile radius. But here it may be further away than that. So we are busy, and I'm pleased to have it. I'm a little surprised, but I'll take it.
Right, you want to have any questions? Well, 9 is closed session.
Well, I was going to,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't do my presentation piece. Here's the top fee is called, a project called Project Down. This is a company that, is purchasing the Adden Furniture Building and will be upfitting, a significant portion of it. The building reuse piece of it calls for 19 jobs, averaging a little under $20,000 per job. They will be, looking at $100,000 grant. The company and I talked, and the jobs number will be significantly higher than is in the grant request. We talked anywhere from 50 total. It is a well-respected international company. It'll be a great presence, and it keeps a building that's in the community in better repair. And I think it will be a nice addition to Burke County and Hildebran. What we're asking is for you to match half of the required 5% match. So $100,000 grant, the county would do $2,500. We would ask you to do $2,500. And the application goes before the Rural Infrastructure Board on December the 10th.
Alan, what's the name of the company again? I apologize.
It's
Or did you just say-
codenamed Downey.
Yeah, okay, code name.
Since it has not been announced yet, I try to keep the name.
Which building did you say it was in?
Adden Furniture.
No, which one is that?
It is behind the Lexington Home Brands.
Okay.
Used to be Southern Desk.
Yes.
That was all before.
Anything else?
Okay, we can.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, and as we approve that, we would also need to do a budget amendment from Economic Development Reserve to the general fund budget for 2,500 in current.
That's a no-brainer.
That's a no-brainer.
I'll make that motion.
All right, hear a motion. Go ahead and
Can we
vote.
do that now?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Mike, yes. Terry, yes.
Derek, yes.
All right, thank you.
That motion includes both the reuse grant and the budget amendment.
Good job.
Okay, thank you. Closed session.
Need a motion?
I'll make the motion to go to closed session.
All right, all in favor?
Oh, yes.
Mike, yes. Terry, yes.
Derek, yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Are we off, Alex?
Oh, will you announce that we'll be back after closed session? For the,
Okay, yeah, the meeting will continue. We'll be back after closed session.
You turn these off.